Well, gang, we are back in action with the Why Not Me podcast. Before we get started, let's pray. God, thank you so much for this time. Thank you for this moment. Lord, I pray you use these words to motivate and move somebody. Amen. Today, we're going to address this idea of accountability and something that I've talked about for a long time, not on the podcast only, but in life in general, is this idea of accountability. And what is the right form of accountability and what is the right order of accountability and what is the best way to do it for me and for others. And I hear myself talk about this thing, accountability, often in the professional cycle with my professional environment, but also in sports and coaching environments. It's this idea of accountability. And over the years I've come to the idea, I've heard it said before, this idea of absolute accountability. And that stuck with me as a way that I approach my why not me journey. I have to be absolutely accountable, right? However, before I get too far into what that means, let's build it up. So, what accountability has to be understood in a certain perspective and framework in order for absolute accountability to be a positive thing for you to do. So, I got a definition I want to read. Accountability is the obligation or willingness to accept responsibility, be answerable for actions, and provide justification for outcomes. So it's this pressure and openness to answer for whatever happens as far as an outcome or an action and provide why it happened. And in that sense, there is this idea of whatever is going on, accountability means that if it was something I did to make it good, let me own it. If it's something I did to make it bad, let me own it. On the other end, if it's something that you did to make it bad or good, own it. So accountability, I wanted to frame it that way because that's going to help us really build this idea of absolute accountability in a way that I understand it. I think oftentimes when we talk about accountability and when I hear the word accountability being used, I hear it in the sense of like I'm going to hold someone else accountable and I'm going to make sure that they know that they did something wrong, whether it's to me or in a job or they skipped something. I'm going to let them know that hey, this was not okay or not up to par. And I think that is a part of accountability, but I think that's a lot of times we do it in the wrong order in the wrong context. Accountability is less about getting someone in trouble, about reprimanding somebody. And it's ultimately about holding a standard. It is saying that I have agreed to X level standard, and I'm going to make sure that I am holding us, me, the collective, to this standard. And then the other thing that I want to acknowledge and own is that accountability is very uncomfortable, and I think that's what it's supposed to be. Accountability is not a comfortable thing because growth is not a comfortable thing. And your why not me journey is not a comfortable thing, meaning it's not easy, but it is worth it. So accountability is a very important part to any part of your growth and development. And here is where I think when we get to the idea of holding others accountable or being accountable, we have to say, first, I'm going to hold myself accountable. I think I learned this in the sports world that it's very easy in a competitive environment to point at someone else at their flaws. And I think, there's parables that talk about how you'll point out a speck of dust in someone's eye and you won't even acknowledge the log in your eye. It's very easy for us to sit on our end and point fingers and say, hey, you didn't do this or you did this, uh, and reprimand someone. And basically, it's a way for us to draw space and isolate the other, oftentimes used to harm somebody. But truly, the first step before you can ever hold someone absolutely accountable is that you hold yourself absolutely accountable. Okay. So, what does this mean? In every scenario, in every situation, before I ever get to the place of, hey, you did this wrong, if I'm in a team sport, this didn't go well and it was your fault, or if I'm in an office setting, this project did not go well, or the sale did not land, or this thing did not work, and it is your fault. Before I ever get to that, in a marriage, hey, honey, this is not done well and it's your fault, or our kids are mad and it's your fault, or I'm mad and it's your fault. Before you ever get to that part, look in the mirror, okay? It's this metaphorical mirror that you carry with you at all times, or the real mirror, too. And the purpose of looking in that mirror is to stop and say, hey, what did I do? What did I do to help? What did I do to harm? What did I do to break? And if you stop and look at that in a very sober and honest way, and you hold yourself absolutely accountable, that's going to change the way it goes when you hold others accountable. So after you look in the mirror and you analyze the role you played in accountability, it's important that you're honest about what you see, okay? And you go into this self accountability aspect with the idea that I'm going to honestly analyze, what did I do? When we're looking in the mirror, this practice should become easier to see where you could have been better, and the role that I use absolute accountability for. Not only is it to uphold a certain standard, not only is it to ensure that I'm working at a certain level, but it is a good way for me to eliminate any and every excuse possible. Because here's the reality: an excuse is only going to help you avoid growing, help you bypass accountability, and never put you in a place where you can honestly be your best. So, one thing I love about absolute accountability is that when you do self accountability first, you're removing every and any excuse. Okay. We want reasons only. Removing every and any excuse. This also means, this is the hard part. When you're being accountable and you're holding yourself accountable in an absolute way, meaning there's no wavering, it's just about what is right, wrong, what I did, what I didn't do, no excuses. You have to accept honestly where you are and what you are. This means, like, I know my downfalls and I know my strengths. I know that I didn't do that well, and I kind of have this tension, like I want to run away from this. I don't want to address this issue within myself, and yet I probably should. It forces us to be very honest about where we are. So that's the first benefit of absolute accountability. Is when you're looking in this mirror, you're seeing, okay, this is who I am. And yep, I did that very bad. And I'm not good at this. Maybe I'm not the best communicator, and therefore I need to put extra effort into communicating. It looks at your gaps, and that is important to understand. But here's the other important part. Looking in the mirror and being accountable to yourself also identifies your strengths. When you look in the mirror and say, hey, okay, well, what went well, what went wrong in the scenario? Well, I could have done this better, and I did this pretty good. Okay, well, let's build on this good thing and make it even better, and let's identify how we can intentionally work to address this not so good part. So that practice alone of you just looking in the mirror and say, I did this okay, did this good, that's a very healthy approach to look at yourself with. It's real, it's honest, and you being honest with yourself, owning what you're good at and owning what you're not good at, is only going to help you in the future to lead a healthier life and to lead others better. But then you get to this place of it really refines your self-identity, knowing what your strengths are, knowing what your weaknesses may be. Play to your strengths more, right? So it shows you a lot about who you are. It identifies your tools, and it allows you to really be the best you because you're holding yourself accountable. So this whole idea is all about growth. When you're honest with yourself and you own all of you and you take accountability of that, it allows you to move forward in a more productive way. And here's the reason why it's important that we consider, when I look in the mirror, how honest and absolute am I being? Whatever your why not me is, whatever your goal is, whatever your purpose is, if you are doing it just for you right now, I feel like doing this, therefore I'm going to go do it. My New Year's resolution, I'm going to go work out. I'm going to eat salads every day. I'm going to start a business. Okay. If you don't root that to a higher purpose, the chances that you're going to quit on yourself are higher. When you root your why not me to a standard or a greater good, being absolutely accountable to that is a whole lot easier. And when you start being accountable to something higher, bigger, greater than yourself, that has an impact on others. So if my why not me is I want to mobilize and empower people to be their best and live a life of their dreams and also see themselves the way they were created, then that's a pretty big reason to be accountable. That's something that when I'm tired and I don't feel like moving, that's going to motivate me to get up and get going. Versus when I want money and I want fame and I want glory, I'm going to come to the end of myself very quickly. And also, it's a good practice to hold yourself to a higher standard, to honor something bigger than yourselves. Let's think about marriage, family, profession, impact, life, goals, health, fitness, wealth, all of that stuff. It requires you to commit to something bigger than you and do it no matter how you feel. Hold yourself absolutely accountable. And the reason why I'm focused on the self so much right now is that without modeling accountability, without doing self accountability, without holding yourself accountable, holding others accountable, it's going to seem flawed. It's going to seem selfish, and it's going to seem deflective. Okay. Before you could ever hold anybody accountable, you have to hold yourself accountable. Now let's talk about, we've got this idea of having a higher standard, our priorities being in order. We figured out that when we're holding ourselves accountable, let's hold ourselves accountable to a greater good, a greater cause beyond ourselves. That way it pushes us further. We go further for something greater than ourselves. And I've practiced looking in the mirror and seeing my shortcomings and seeing my strengths. Now I'm at the point where I can look at holding somebody accountable. Okay. It always starts with you. Every time you're in a scenario where you feel like you need to hold somebody accountable, first hold yourself accountable. I promise you, this is gonna work out for you a lot better than you would if you just never looked in the mirror in all aspects of life. Now, I have a philosophy, a coaching philosophy, a people philosophy, a mantra that I use when I'm pouring into or holding people accountable. And the mantra is, people are like bank accounts, okay? And bank accounts, you can't go to the bank and withdraw money that you haven't put in there yet. You have to first deposit the money, deposit the wealth, deposit the love, deposit the support, deposit respect, or whatever it be, deposit the model, the example, the standard, the greater good, the common good, whatever it is you're trying to tap into, you have to deposit that into the bank before you could ever make a withdrawal. And people are similar to that and should be treated similar to that. Not that people should be treated transactionally, rather than you should invest in people before you take from people. It's not about transactional relationships. That's not it at all. It is more about, before I ever ask to take from you, I need to give to you, okay? So now, when I'm holding somebody accountable with that in mind, this idea that I'm going to give you something, that something, when I'm holding somebody accountable, is the model, the example, that I'm holding myself accountable. And I'm going to give you this too. I saw that I could do this better, and I will fix that. Now, what's next? You fell short here, okay? The next important thing, after we establish trust and we invest respect and love and connection and common ground with this person, Then we have to make sure every piece of accountability is constructive, okay? This doesn't mean it's going to feel good. It means that there is a way forward, a pathway forward, and a way out after accountability comes. So if I just say, hey, that was awful, be better. Hey, that shot was awful, be better. Hey, you did an awful job writing this report, be better. Hey, you made me feel bad, be better. I didn't like the way you did that to me, be better. There is no clear, tact, and decisive way that I should go about growing, because be better can be understood a million different ways. And being better, it all depends on a perspective the person that you're telling to be better has. Rather, once you've established trust and love and you've invested into the bank account of the human being, you're going to withdraw. Make sure it's be better, and here's how. There has to be a constructive aspect, an aspect that provides them a way forward and a way out. Because without that, it is just an attack. And absolute accountability is way more than an attack. Absolute accountability is an invitation saying, hey, I'm on this pathway. I'm going this way. Come with me. Come on. This is going to be good. It's going to be hard. It's going to be worth it. And you're going to be better because of it. Okay. So now accountability looks like this. Hey, that shot was awful. You took a shot when you were triple covered, You had two people wide open. You should have done two passes, and that would have been a wide open, easy 3 to go ahead for the game. Or in a relationship, hey, that felt bad. When you were talking to me about what you needed me to do, you were talking to me in a tone that made me feel like you didn't care about me. It seemed aggressive and cold and selfish. And you haven't recognized that I've been trying to meet your needs and support you and allow you space to do these things. Do you mind? I'm okay with you telling me what you need. Could you communicate in a way that is a bit more conversational and less authoritative? And in the tone that seems less cold, please. What I've done is I've given you a pathway forward. Okay, let's talk about professionally. Hey, that report was not good enough. I needed you to see a 3-year span of the numbers, not a 1-year span of the numbers. I needed to be organized, by their years and by departments, not just by numerical value. So it's important that when you give accountability, you give it with a way forward, a pathway forward that has instructions that is understandable. Here's a catch: understandable by the person receiving it. Okay. If you are committed to something, whether it's a marriage, a journey, a profession, a business, a lifestyle, whatever it may be, and you're doing that journey with somebody, your cause deserves accountability. Your cause deserves accountability from you and accountability from them. It's hands down, it's deserved, okay? So make sure that accountability you give to other people that are joining you in your cause or on this journey with you or in your circle or in your marriage, that accountability is a way forward, not a shove back. We're not looking to push them back in a corner and make them go 3 steps back so we can go forward. We're moving everybody forward, okay? That is absolute accountability. It's accountability to this greater good. This good that I believe wholeheartedly, and if I'm doing this journey with somebody else, then the both of us need to be growing into this greater good. And because I'm accountable to the greater good, I'm not worried about what I lose on if someone else grows. I'm not worried about what I miss out on if someone else develops. It doesn't take away from me if someone else is doing great. If we're both winning, that means the greater good gets 2 winning, excellent people who are pursuing their why not me. Okay? It's not about pushing someone back so that you can grow. It's about pushing everyone forward so that the greater good could benefit. I think the most important thing whenever you're considering holding something and yourself accountable, it's not okay to just be harsh. It can be frank. It can be real. It can be direct, but it has to be rooted in love. Accountability should be an expression of love and connection to a standard, okay? I love this thing, and therefore I buy into the standard, And we are going to be abiding by what is required of us to do this thing. That is absolute accountability. Be accountable, hold people accountable. Do it for a greater good, for the standard. Do it for the greater good, not for yourself, not for your feelings, not for your insecurities. Feelings are fleeting. I might feel like being mean to you today and frank to you today and crass to you today because I had a rough morning getting the kids ready for school. I might feel like being very aggressive and cold today because I didn't have my coffee this morning, right? Feelings, they're so fickle. You know what's not fickle? A greater good rooted in something meaningful. That will not go anywhere. Okay? Absolute accountability. Look in the mirror first. Be honest with what you're doing well and what you need to grow on. And own that first. Invest in others and build the ability to hold others accountable by holding yourself accountable and doing it no matter whether you're behind closed doors or in a public space. Hold yourself accountable in an absolute manner to what you're working towards. The second thing, hold others accountable, but let that be rooted in the standard. Accountability is an invitation forward, whether it's to yourself or to others. Let's make it a positive thing. Let's be great. Let's make a difference. Let's make someone's life better. Until next time, peace. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Why Not Me podcast. I hope this episode inspired you and challenged you, and it was something you needed to hear. And if it was, please share it with somebody, a coworker, a friend, a family member, a significant other. You never know. They could be just one conversation away from experiencing real breakthrough. If you don't already follow or subscribe, please do so on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And remember, the growth you want, the life you want, the impact you want, all of that can change by asking one question: why not me? I'll see you next episode.